Welcome to the Relateable podcast, a safe space for open and honest conversations created for Black people.
This podcast explores how we relate to one another in our intimate connections, friendships, family, and everything in between. Hosted by 3 Caribbean women. I am Fiona, a single mom.
I'm Shaween, a very near empty nester.
And I'm Shantrelle, a free-spirited monogamist. Relatable, because a shared journey brings hope. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Relatable. We missed you guys last week, but we know you had lots of episodes to catch up with, right? And also Sherween's show notes for every single episode that we've done, so that you can dive into all the things that we've recommended, referenced, resources, all the magic that we talk about in our conversations. Sherween captures them in the show notes. Isn't that right, Sherween?
That's right. And I take pleasure doing that as well.
I bet you do. So how y'all doing? Sherween, let's start with you. How you doing? How's your week been?
My week, Gassa, you know what? It's been a very good week. The weekend, however, was yesterday. I know we're recording on a Monday. On Monday, I don't want to give a date, but on a Monday. And the weekend was just crazy. It was amazing on Saturday. And then everything just went haywire. Yesterday, we had a tropical type of, I don't know if it's a depression, a trough or whatever, but for 3 hours between 11:30 and 12, just before 12. So we had a downpour, and the amount of devastation that caused in those short 3 hours, it was crazy. And I've not seen that. I mean, I was here through Debbie, the tropical storm back in the 90s, I think. 90s.
Well, we were young them times, eh?
We were young. We were very young. Yesterday, I saw, and Lucas and Haley got to experience the tropical weather, and they just were like, wow, they couldn't believe. So we had no electricity for a while, roads blocked off, houses destroyed, businesses destroyed, schools closed. I couldn't remember how devastating water could be in such a short space of time. So yesterday was crazy, but the week was really good. Got a lot of things done, nice progress being made. The kids, everybody's happy. So it's been a very good week. But yeah, yesterday was kind of scary. So when we go out there today, I'll see the devastation or what's happening and what's being done. But yeah. That's my week.
Okay. Showing were there any lives lost or
no lives lost?
Okay.
No lives lost yet that we know of.
Right. Okay.
But so far, thank God, touch wood, no lives lost. Okay. Lots of devastation, but hey, you know what? Things can be replaced.
Hey, your children are getting the full Caribbean experience,
right?
In terms of aside from the romance and pretty beaches. In terms of what rain can do and flooding and how you've seen people cars floating away and it could happen just so like that.
I saw a container floating away. A container floating away, carried away by water.
Yo, that's what I'm saying. I remember the story about the time I almost died.
Yes, so that's by my home. You were telling me.
Yes. Young and curious, it was for Debbie, and it was the same thing. I think Debbie was a storm, but it's not that she had a lot of wind and stuff like that. It was rain by you there, which is like, it's a valley pretty much. It's a flat, right?
It is, yeah.
So we were seeing cows floating, cars floating. So we went to investigate. We had no place going there, right? But then there was this area of water that was flowing. And, everyone in my family, we confident swimmers and stuff, but it really made me respect the water. I must have been about maybe 11, 12 or something. And the water, of course, is brown because there's dirt, there's debris and stuff like that. And we were trying to cross to get to the other side. And I was walking and I just disappeared under the water because I couldn't see where I was walking. And I don't know if I walked over the edge of a gutter or the edge of I don't know. It was like a deep drop. And Fiona was here today, gone, pop, in a second. And in them times I can swim, but it was not just the force of the water, but it was what was under the water. So when you think about
the debris,
yes. So when you think about people who lose their lives in floods, it's not just say their inability to swim, but I was pulled under the water and I was getting juke up by all kind of branches and whatever piece of plastic or metal or whatever was under, because the water, you cannot see what's under the water. And this is where you can get really badly injured. And it really put me in check about entering floodwaters. And some man from somewhere, a hand of Jesus,
a hand of God, girl, a hand of the Creator.
Yo, this black Jesus just pull up.
That's Creator.
And Diamond just grabbed me from underneath the water, right? And saved me, because I would have been washed away. My sisters were panicking, and it happened so fast. But yeah, that was something that really put me in check in terms when it comes to flooding. You don't take those things lightly, because something can knock you, something can drag you and pull you. And it's that pull and the scratching and the juking and that can pierce your skin or whatever. And that's where it can become very dangerous.
Yeah, but before we just can I just say also, as touching and moving as it was to see all the devastation and sad, it was also really nice to see Gasa because we were trapped for about 2 hours at the cricket stadium. On our way back down, we saw men, women, children, everybody out of their houses on the road with their shovels, clearing up one time. Okay, everybody was out clearing, digging, making space for the water, because the water was like rapids, and making space for the water. I tell you, children, Fiona, men, women, and children, and that was moving. That's when you see community. That's when you know community still exists. Okay, despite whatever, there is community. So that was nice to see. But yes, I think I've taken up so much. So how was your week, Fiona?
A blur. Like, I know all kind of thing. Like, it's just a blur. I would say that because Beaucoup Hoodoo is coming up and I'll be presenting this weekend, I've been going hard on my research, and I've researched things that I knew about, but I am going deeper in and really pushing myself, because I want this to be like the most fire presentation ever. Because also it's a different crowd as well. You know, it's one thing speaking about history to a certain depth if it's like a room full of corporate people. But Beaucoup Hoodoo is a different demographic of people. This is going to be priests and priestesses who have been practitioners for 30 years. This is people who have been doing this shit, people who live it. You know, we're going to be having Maroons coming in from Suriname who grew up in that community where they know their shit, like Winty, and they know about all of those kind of deep spiritual things. And I mean, what I'm presenting is different to that, right? But at the same time, it's a different crowd. I'm very proud of my research, and that is mainly the bulk of what I've been doing, just focusing on these past few days.
Wow, girl, you'll be amazing.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous.
You, of course, it's you.
Well, it's good that you're nervous, Fiona, because being nervous means that you care. So I'm happy that you're nervous, because when you're nervous, I know that's when you deliver, right? And no pressure. No pressure, Fee, but make us proud,
sister.
And make some good connections as well. Make some really good connections, because these people are magical, Gasa.
Gasa, the lineup.
Magical beings, Gasa, and
the lineup is
the lineup is fire. I can't wait. I've joined virtually.
Amazing.
So I'm looking forward to.
Oh,
yeah.
I haven't had a chance. Is it still on?
You can buy virtual passes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can buy a pass. You can buy a pass.
All right, I'll check it out.
You can definitely buy a pass. Amazing.
So, Madame Chantal.
Yes, my dear.
How's your week been?
My week has been a blur. just lots going on. I've been doing lots of producing for other podcasts. I am curating the audio visual for an exhibition in Nevis. So I've been doing lots of recording and photography and filming for that.
What's the concept of the exhibition?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I spoke about this before a few episodes back. Maybe I didn't. As I said, it's been a blur. So this exhibition is focused on dementia and the role of carers for people living with dementia. So yeah, there's going to be a podcast documenting the journey that way. We are building a community of artisans who will also participate in the exhibition in different ways. It's a really juicy project for me, and I'm very happy and honored to have been invited in to contribute to it. And there's also stuff that I'm developing for Island Girls Rock. We're having our first Island Girls Rock event in Nevis since I've been back. We're screening Shari Petty's Sorf Hair documentary.
Oh!
Yes. So we're screening that. And we're having a panel discussion. There's going to be pop-ups with hair products made by Nivision artisans. So it's really more of a screening experience. So it's not just bums on seats. So there's all the work going into that. And of course, you know, just life and trying to stay afloat and all the things, which actually is a pretty cool segue into the theme of this episode. It's going to be a short and sweet episode for us anyway. And it's really about how we navigate when life is lifing. Because as we know, life is, you know, the plot twists, the curveballs. It's consistent, right? The one thing with life that's consistent, as they say, is change. And change isn't always something that we welcome. Sometimes we're like, what in the actual fuck is happening? Other times we're like, yeah, bring it on. But what do we do? What does the Relatable crew do when life is lifing? And so that's what we're kind of jumping into, how we call in ease and joy and how we find our equanimity and our balance, because life is duality as well. This is something that we've touched on before, where the most amazing things can be happening and the most shit things can be happening simultaneously, because that's just the way it works, right? And so, I mean, Fiona, what are maybe one or two of the things that you find yourself leaning into when life is just being life, when things feel a little heavy? What are the things you do?
I have the simplest answer. It's not things, it's thing. And it's not necessarily the best.
There's no judgment here, Fiona.
I know. Well, you know what it is? It's because it was a conversation that I was having, because it's not solution oriented, and it shouldn't have to be. But long story short, I get overwhelmed. I was going to sleep. So that is it. That's what when life is life, and I was going to sleep. I mean, yes, there's like little distractions, like when life is, people go and live vicariously and go and scroll on Instagram, you end up feeling worse, and then you keep scrolling anyway, and you still feel worse. But yeah, I was going to sleep. I think I mean, I know I'm trivializing it, but in truth, sleep is when my mind starts to problem solve. I wake up feeling better. I don't wake up feeling worse. I think that's why I do that. Some people just want to sleep just to not be awake.
Right. And that's what I was going to ask you. Like, what does sleep do for you?
Well, it does two things. It allows me to not be awake and be in a negative spiral. But then I always wake up feeling better. I don't wake up feeling worse. I wake up feeling more positive. I wake up feeling, and clearly that's my subconscious working through the problem and to find a solution, or to just weave myself out of the negative space I was in before I went to sleep.
Yeah.
But that's what I do. That's what I do.
I'm jealous.
I mean, it don't always work, but that's that's what I mean. You bringing up this topic has made me think about it's more than just I'm running awake, I just don't want to be awake, but how I think it's more about how do you feel after you go and sleep.
Yes. Yeah.
And if you wake up feeling worse or the same, then maybe that's not the only thing you should be doing. right?
Yeah.
I'll never tell somebody not to, because you need to rest. But if you end up feeling worse, then maybe there's something else you should do alongside that to support it.
I like that. And I'm very jealous that you could just go and sleep.
Because you can't sleep.
I can't do that. Like, I've never been able to nap in the day. Like, just say, you know what? Some people that just say, oh, I'm just going in for a nap. I'm like, what?
No, but let me tell you, can I tell you a joke? It's not a joke, inside story. One time I had a boyfriend and that man was horning me. Those who are not familiar with the term horn, he was cheating on me horrifically. Okay? It was
really
stupendously levels, okay?
Levels of
other things that he was doing. And like, I exposed him and whatever, and we're having the talk, and it was late. It was like maybe 2-3 o'clock in the morning. And then it's like, I think at one point the conversation came to like a deadlock.
Right.
And that man went to sleep. That man snoring hard. And I watched that man on the bed. Like, we big vex. Like, this is like end of relationship levels. And you just go to sleep. Big snore. I mean, when I'm like that, I cannot sleep. Right? But in the middle of this very serious altercation, you go and sleep.
Wow.
And I
Baka level snoring.
Yo, he's snoring hard. So even if I wanted to sleep, I couldn't sleep. And I say, how are you so peaceful? Just there dreaming away. But yeah, I always think about that moment. Like, how could he go and sleep? But maybe he was running away too. I don't
exactly. Maybe he was just
avoiding. I think he was avoiding the situation. I think he was avoiding the situation for sure. And going and sleep was a nice escape.
Hey,
oh,
but
my
yes.
God.
So, Shoween, how do you deal with when life is lifing?
Boy, listen, yeah. For me, it's different things, different situations. Sometimes, yeah, I'll go and sleep too. I'll say, you know what? Fuck that shit. I go and sleep, to hell with everything, to hell with everybody else. But I think like minor things with my kids, for example, if they're stressing me out or if they've done something that I'm not happy with, I will say, you know what? I'm going to sleep, go sleep. Fair enough. But I think when it comes to big things, big decisions, I suffer from terrible, terrible anxiety. So I will actually not be able to sleep when it's things that literally keep me up at nights. My anxiety will not let me go to sleep. I will stay up. I will try to think of all things around how to deal with everything. So what I've decided to do in the past few years, the past probably between 3 to 5 years, that's I smoke a joint. I smoke a joint. I don't smoke during the day. I don't smoke like a whole joint. I'll take like 3 or 4 pulls from a joint, and then I'll go to sleep. It will knock me out. It will calm my mind and knock me out. If I cannot smoke a joint, I'll drink some tea. I quite like Blue Lotus tea. That one was recommended to me by our friend, Fiona Scarlett. She recommended Blue Lotus tea. And this really, really calms me down. I also started taking CBD oil as well.
Yes.
Hey, listen, I believe in the power of CBD oil. Okay, a few drops under my tongue, and calm me down. It's purely for my anxiety. Last year was crazy. Absolutely crazy on my emotions, my minds. At some points, you all know I thought I was losing it. And these are the little things that helped. I wish I did more exercise, but I didn't. I didn't have the strength to do exercise. So a little 2 pull on a zoot.
Yep.
2 pull on a zoot, CBD oil and tea. That's what helped me when life is lifing. Other times, guys, I have an adult moment. I tell my children, "Oi, I am having an adult moment." I go in the bathroom and I bawl.
Yes, release, right?
Yeah,
I release that shit.
Release.
I cry.
Yes.
I cry my eyes out. I cry. I bawl. I do all the.
Oh, girl, that level.
That level. Nice. I take it there. I cry. I cry. Sometimes I meditate. But yeah, these are how I deal with things. And you know what? I think the most important thing is I speak to my crew, my tribe. I speak to you guys. There are times when, of course, I don't want to pass on my things to y'all. And I tell you, okay, I'm going incommunicado for a while. I'm there.
Yes.
Y'all
Yes.
know me. Y'all know me. But when I feel like it's time to open up, I will open up to y'all because I love and respect y'all. I respect all the gems y'all share with me. And I take it in. I may not listen all the time. Really? When it comes to certain things, I may not listen all the time, but I do take it in.
Really? You find that, Shantrelle? This is...
I mean,
I've never noticed that about show. We not listening.
Never, ever.
At all.
I mean, can't recall when we
can
experienced
recall.
that.
It's okay.
I mean,
It's
something
okay.
to do with the pleasure principles and stuff. Like kind of a little bell, but you know, I don't know.
Tinkle, 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 tinkle.
But this is and I cannot recommend enough for us to have a small tribe. Everybody should have a small tribe. It doesn't have to be a big group of people, and it's not echo chambers. It's not everybody thinking the same way as you. And yes, you should. No, it's level-headed.
I love that you said that. I love that you said it's not about having an echo chamber. That's important.
Yep.
That is not helpful at all. You need to have people who will give you honesty at all times and not what they think you want to hear. So I'm very, very blessed that I have a tribe, and I recommend that highly for us people to get a tribe, a small tribe of people you trust and love, because they'll be there for you. And this is how I deal with life. This is when life is fucking me up the ass. This is what I do.
Lord, the visuals.
Sorry, y'all know me, people, by now. Our followers, they know my tongue have no break sometimes. I love y'all. Chantal, darling, we coming around to you.
Coming round. Wow. When life is lifing for me, unlike Fiona, who I'm very jealous of, the first thing that actually goes for me is my sleep. I cannot sleep, right? And when life is lifing, what do I lean into? One of the things, and it's such a funny thing because I have zero energy when life is battering me about. But the thing that helps me the most is movement. It is actually moving my body, going for a swim. I crave hiking. And I find that when life is peak, funnily enough, I really crave hiking, like walking up a steep hill. And I don't know if it's a visual thing, like I'm gonna conquer this shit. I'm gonna climb up to the top of the mountain, right? It's that visual thing again. But I really love moving my body. That helps greatly. I have been leaning into edibles. And so, when Sherween mentioned that she's been using CBD oil, I did laugh. And I laughed because I have been leaning into edibles. And I've actually shared my edibles with my mommy because my mom is living with fibromyalgia, which is a condition that affects disproportionately Black people. So, of course, no money has been put into researching it and a cure for it. Of course not. Just had to say that. And so she was having an episode of pain. And I was like, Mom, do you want to try an edible? And she's like, I'm going to try anything, which I really rate my mom for. I'm telling you. So I gave her half of an edible, trust. And it really helped her to sleep. It helped her pains and her aches. And so I went and got her a regular supply. I'm my mom's drug supplier.
Chantal is the plug.
I'm the plug. I'm my mom's plug. And so she's been using edibles for like a few weeks now, and it's really helping her. And I'm glad. And they do help me. They help me to sleep. They help me, they calm my subconscious, because my subconscious, when I'm experiencing high levels of anxiety, is like, go, 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 go. That inner voice, that inner critic. And I know that also unplugging is something that helps me immensely. I do unplug from social media, and I read books. I read books on love and romance and fantasy, anything that does not really attach itself to the narrative of Black living being only steeped in trauma. So I seek out books that amplify our joy and our celebration and our magic, because I feel that's what my spirit and soul needs at that time when life is just being a real shit. And I also love talking to my nieces and my nephews, you know, and just listening to them and their little lives and what's important to them. It makes me smile. What else do? I listen to podcasts. I do. I'm a podcast junkie, but I seek those that, again, more like The Read. The Read makes me laugh. Oh my gosh, Crystal and Kid Fury, y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. They really just, and you know what I love about Kid Fury is that he's very honest about his struggle with anxiety and depression. And so it's about coming back to the purpose of Relatable, where it's a shared journey brings hope, right?
Yeah.
And so knowing that Kid is experiencing these things and yet he's showing up, but he's showing up in a very vulnerable way and very honest way. I love that. It gives me strength and it makes me feel like, yeah, I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not the only one. So I do lean into that quite a bit. So right now, life is lifing in that our Wi-Fi connectivity has been quite shit over the past 4 weeks. Flow is really just taking the piss. I'm saying it. Keep on promising to come and fix it. It doesn't happen. I have a story to share with y'all, which I will share in another episode, which touches on our inability to let go of colonial mindset and valuing the voices of white immigrants more so than citizens of this country.
Hey,
okay.
Hey, same thing for St. Lucia. I've got stories too.
We got stories to share, and we're gonna share them in the next episode. Okay. But yeah, we're gonna talk about some things next episode. But this thing is about what we do to call in the joy and the ease. Of course, I hit my yoga mat. Sometimes I just sit there and like Shaween. You know what I do? Oh, Shaween, confession.
Yes.
You know when you spoke about crying as a release, do you know what I sometimes do? I will watch a film that I know will make me cry.
I get that though. I get it though.
What's your go-to film? What's your go-to film?
Okay. I have my go-to Imitation of Life, but recently the film series, does that even make sense? The Netflix series From Scratch.
Okay.
I haven't heard of that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know that one. I'm not gonna say anything else because when Sherwin mentioned the balling from the chest,
yes,
girl, me in my bed watching From Scratch, and but I needed that release. I needed it, right? And afterwards, I was like, yo, I'm gonna watch this again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it though. I get it though, because sometimes the tears just not come in, but you know they're there.
Yes.
And you just need something to just open that door so it can come out.
Yes.
You know, so
let me tell you mine.
What's yours?
I have my free films.
Yes.
I have P.S. I Love You.
Oh Lord.
I have Eat, Pray, Love.
That has made you cry.
Steel Magnolias.
Steel Magnolias. Which version? Which version of Steel
Magnolias with Julia Roberts? The old versions and Sally Fields. Yes. Girl, you see at the end when she crying, Gassa A. And then I don't know if anybody's not seen Steel Magnolias yet. Listen, if you want to have a good flipping cry, put on Steel Magnolias. This is me. This is my go-to for the when the thing coming out. When the thing not coming out, I say, okay, I go fix you because you need to come out. Put on Steel Magnolias, and there it is. Going every time. Waterworks.
What about you, Fiona? What is your go-to film?
I don't watch them. If a film has made me bawl, I will not. For example, Up, the cartoon Up.
Oh gosh.
I watched it once.
Oh gosh.
I've watched it once, and I know that film is beautiful. But
Yes.
I went to watch that in a cinema with my sisters, and all of us are criers in this family, right? And you know that film, the first 10 minutes is tough, right?
Yeah.
And I looked to my left and my right, and all of us was bawling. And I think that it's too much. So I have refused to watch that movie since. I've refused. I think movies make me cry fast. Sometimes I go to the cinema with Jeriah, and you know, all of these cartoons always have some emotional moment, and see me there cry.
But Fiona, sometimes you need it.
Yeah, it could be. It could be the thing that I've needed to do. But I find some of these children's, if it's Disney or Pixar thing, they'll have a moment, I'll just be there bawling. But I don't have a go-to, because I don't like to go back to it. I run away from that. I don't think I've had a full-on bawl in a long time. Eat,
Pray, Love. If I find my feelings, Gasa, Gopwell have me. Eat, Pray, Love. or P.S. I Love You. P.S. I Love You is the one, because you know why? Because when I telling myself that man dead to me.
Shaween.
P.S. I Love You. And the tears. That's a proper Gopwell, eh?
Yes.
That's proper Gopwell movie for me. And for the listeners that don't know what Gopwell is, it's a broken heart. Yeah, it's a broken heart and all the things that come with a broken heart.
I highly recommend From Scratch. That's all
I'm gonna look into it. But I'll look into it when I feel like I need a little cry.
Like, it's not. It doesn't bring the crying until much further down in the series. And to keep it real with everyone, in case you haven't watched it, I was struggling for the first few episodes. I was like, okay, whatever. And then someone told me to stick with it, and I did. And I'm happy I did. And then, of course, getting my release.
Nice.
Boy, right on time. Right. Are there any songs that you guys listen to bring
to cry?
Yeah.
Boy, that's a good question. I can, you know what songs I can remember that made me cry? Like, I think my first real proper emotional cry, as in a passage from childhood to adulthood, was the Love Jones album.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
Why did it make you cry?
Yes. I could understand that.
There was, of course, it has lovely love songs, but it was just even Dion Faris's song, which is supposed to be, supposed to be joyous, but it's still. And
they
then
say I'm hopeless.
Yes, like
a
in the right moment.
Hole in it. Yes.
In the right moment, it will make you cry. Or like, was it Duke Ellington's Jazz Serenade as well? But it was just, or even The Sweetest Thing, Lauryn Hill's Sweetest Thing. In the right moment, it could make you cry. You know?
Yeah. I think for me, it's the moment.
Okay.
And the moment, what's happening. Yes. Because Gasa, if I in a moment and the right dancehall song come on, I'll cry.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So I think for me, it's the moment.
Yes, it's true. I think also any music by Nicholas Britell. So Nicholas Britell, you all know his music. It's his song Agape from If Beale Street Could Talk. I've used it quite a lot in some of the, but you heard it shared quite a lot. It's a very emotional song. It's an instrumental. You all have heard it so many times. I cannot sing it because it's a melody.
Yeah, I think I know which one.
But that's anything from If Beale Street Could Talk. So for example, I will watch that film once and once alone. I don't have the strength to watch If Beale Street could talk twice. I can't. Wow. It's too hard. That film is too hard.
For me with songs, it is just literally the moment. It's not a song in particular. It's probably what's happening when that song
at the time. Yes. Yeah. Or sometimes it's the nostalgia.
Yeah.
It reminds you of something. you know?
But yeah, these are the little things that we do, that I do, you do.
Indeed. I mean, for me, just going back to the songs, Dolly Parton's version of I Will Always Love You,
Child.
which is the original version.
Child.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yes.
Her little voice. Oh
Man,
gosh, I can't.
Dolly, you know.
I love Dolly.
I do. I think Dolly's
Dolly.
down. I think Dolly's
She's
down.
so down.
Yeah.
Dolly is an ally from day dot. We love Dolly.
Yeah, she is.
We love Dolly.
Dolly her flowers.
Yes.
Yeah,
Miss Parton. Love her.
You know what? I had a chance to give flowers the other day. I don't know if I told you that. I met Eve, the rapper Eve.
Yes, you mentioned. You mentioned
I said
it.
to her, she was sitting down, and I stooped down and I held her hand and I said, Eve, I need to tell you something, you know. I said, you have inspired a whole generation of women in the Caribbean. And I need you to know that. I need you to know that, yes, of course, you've inspired people around the world, but you were an icon that shaped me. You know, that shaped me, that kind of confidence, that bravado, that this and that. I was so thankful. And she's like, oh, really? And, you know, and she was lovely, but it was just, I was glad to be able to have given somebody the flowers in person. You know,
I love
because,
that.
you know, you always see like Eve she doesn't rap anymore. But she was, you know, you see all of these other female rappers, but like she was there from a long time. Rough Riders, even you talk about songs that made me cry. Love is Blind by Eve.
Girl.
Don't start us off, man.
Yo, when you think when she says, I don't even know you, but I hate you. But what I know is that your girlfriend used to date you. And talking about the abuse her friend went through and her friend died. Yo.
Don't. Lord, yeah. Yep. I remember watching the video on BT.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh
my goodness.
Yeah, that's a big song. And I mean, Eve was young at the time, you know, because she's like our age.
Yeah, she was quite young.
Yeah. She's y'all age, but yeah.
Collectively.
Awesome. Oh, I've really enjoyed this conversation with you guys.
Me too.
Yeah. Just sharing, even just us having this conversation has actually lifted my spirits. And
me too.
I may not be as mad with flow as I was before we started.
Okay, so folks, for this segment, we are doing a condensed what brings you joy this week. Over to you, Showing.
Okay, so just quickly, what brought me joy this week? And actually, it was yesterday. That's why I said yesterday was so up and down. I got a beautiful message. It's actually a podcast called Caribbean Folklore Mysteries. Now, if you all know me, you all know I like my Lajables stories because I have a little interest in there. We all love our folklore, our Mami Water stories and these things. But she posted about the globes, Fiona. It's called Caribbean Folklore Mysteries on Instagram.
I love that.
And she posted about the globes, and I messaged her and I said, the first globe you featured in the clip is by my daughter and my friend Fiona. And she got back, and I'm gonna read the message. She got back and she said, I am a loyal listener of the Relateable podcast. So I knew this was created by the talented hands of your daughter and Miss Fiona. I knew if I didn't see any other globe, I just had to go down there and get a full visual to go with all I heard. So this lady, she's following us, I believe. I'm not too sure. I think she is. Caribbean Folklore Mysteries on Instagram. And she actually went down there and took videos of some of the globes and just put together this beautiful clip of the globes. And I just thought it was so moving that she did that. And then only to see, she realized she follows us and she heard so much about it. She had to go down and do it. So I want to thank her and just big up Gasa And that's what brought me joy yesterday when she got back to me, because I said, hey, that's by Fiona and my daughter. And she got back with that beautiful message. So that brought me a lot of joy. And to our listeners, Gasa, I know sometimes you will not say, you probably don't say much and you're listening, but I know you're there listening and enjoying. So we love you all.
And thank you.
We love you all.
Big
and
up.
we thank you all. Big
Your
up.
boost
Big
us up.
Caribbean,
when life is life in.
Caribbean folklore mysteries. Life is life in. Life is life in. It's all right. All right, guys. That's it. We've come to the end. It was a very nice, sweet, short episode. Just us talking about how we deal with life when it's lifing. And I really enjoyed it. And I hope you did too. So remember, you could catch us anywhere you get your podcast fix. Remember to have a read through of my show notes. We'll put all the lovely gems and all the little bits and pieces we spoke about in there. And yeah, just enjoy your week. Have a lovely week. And remember, people, a shared journey brings hope. Bye for now.
Relatable, because a shared journey brings hope.